Switching subjects, like they're getting ready to come right back to this, just now that Patrick got in there. Oh, God, I should be talking about this.
Staunch. I mean, I was like a lot of people who voted for
I felt like, basically, I felt like Trump. I don't see that as a possibility.
Let me throw a question out there, and folks listening, you know, you're on your way to work. What has Trump done for the middle class, the working class, the blue-collar folks out there? He ran a campaign. He's going to help those folks. That was the crux of his campaign, helping the working middle class. What has he done?
Well, Todd,
has there been any jobs bill? Any infrastructure bill?
Okay, I know he's got everything working against him right now, and I don't know how he's going to be able to make a single move, and that includes Republicans as well against him, but.
What do you mean?
Todd,
you don't see us to get things done. He's the art of the deal.
I understand that, but you asked that question like he's already been in office for 4 years. Looking back on his 4-year term, he's only been in office just a very few months.
If he's going to keep his promises, he better act now because he may not make it 4 years.
I'm with you on that.
7:41, and we brought KLBJ's Patrick Osborn in here. He's following this legislation to have statewide rules for transportation network companies like Uber and Lyft, and Austin doesn't like this at all.
No, they are not a fan, and this is huge news, of course. It's been going around for about more than a year. Governor Abbott's taken to Twitter, says buckle up, coming soon, so that's a clear indication he plans to sign this thing into law.
That's kind of a jab at Adler.
You got to wonder if it may very well be, and of course Mayor Adler is not a fan of this whatsoever. He calls this very disappointing. He thinks it's an affront to limited government. Although a lot of critics I've spoken to over the last year have said Austin's ordinance is anything but limited government.
Exactly. That's it's almost hypocritical for him to say that.
Yeah, well, his statement is, I'm disappointed that the legislature chose to nullify the bedrock principles of self-government and limited government by imposing regulations on our city over the objection of Austin voters. Our city should be proud of how we filled the gap created when Uber and Lyft left, and we now have to hope they return ready to compete in a way that reflects Austin's values. So you've got that, Adler, and we didn't expect Adler to be happy about this. You've got Ride Austin, though, the city-run TNC, and they're in a panic right now because they average about 50 to 70,000 rides a week, which those are impressive numbers. But they say if Uber returns, say, for example, they take some of their business, and now Ride Austin's numbers are down to about 20,000. Yeah, they're going out of business. They can't stand up.
But what? I thought they were non-profit.
They're not for profit, exactly.
What's the deal? Why would they be like
They do a lot of donations for charity. I mean, you know, and of course it's the city-run thing. It popped up. It's supposed to be this new innovative TNC that the city put forth. Yeah, it would be devastating to the city council to see. Well,
devastating. That's ridiculous.
Of course not.
Mayor Adler, he did testify on this bill at the Capitol.
So that's the biggest change here. I mean, it's not so different.
And you know what's going to happen with those drivers? They'll start working for a better TNC in town and make more money.
That's a real possibility.
Nobody's going to be out of work.
That's a real possibility.
Still the same number of jobs. There'll just be more competition, and they'll have to be better.
They'll be in the same cars.
Well, people need to understand too that this statewide regulations, they don't mean that they're just going to send out unvetted drivers into the public. I mean, there's still very stringent criminal background checks, just sand fingerprints, but it's really not so different from Austin's ordinance. But Uber, they're stoked on this, as expected. They say they'll start operations immediately once Abbott signs the law. And, you know, unlike a lot of new laws, they usually take effect on September 1st. This is actually going to take effect immediately. It will immediately nullify everything that Austin has done. And every other city, for that matter, like Houston or San Antonio.
It is an interesting question because Ride Austin is saying, we're done. We'd be out. If Uber comes back, we're finished.
That's what they think.
But what is finished?
That means one less city department we have to fund.
That's true. And what would be finished other than an app? I mean, if they're not for profit, what's done? Because, as you said, the people will still work.
And people will still ride.
Yeah, and people will still ride.
But all of this is a wasted argument, really, because 3 to 5 years from now, no TNC will have a live driver behind the wheel.
I know that Lyft is making a strong push to have driverless cars for sure.
Google to get Uber out.
Let me ask about that.
You can ask us anything. We're an open book.
Thank you so much. Now, I'm for driverless cars as long as it's done right and safely. But what I don't understand is, wait a minute, Mark is coming in here. with something important to say.
Roger Ailes, the man who created and led Fox News, is dead.
Oh!
Whoa.
His wife put out a statement just a moment ago, dead at the age of 77. We have a special update coming up, a hard start at 7:45, guys.
All right,
here on News Radio
7:45. Got a Fox special report. Roger Ailes.
Interesting.
The former Fox News chairman and CEO Roger Ailes. He has died. The family's announced that.
Thank you, Mark.
And all right, great. Well, let's get an update on that right here on the Todd and Don Show on KLBJ.
Man, bizarre string of deaths today. Let's see what's going on in here.
I don't know why. I guess it's not coming off the anchor.
Branding in America's only fair and balanced news network. Critics, mainly from the left, accused Ailes and Fox News of being a mouthpiece for conservative Republican views. Donald Trump was on frequently during the 2016 presidential campaign, but the Fox News channel dominated the cable news ratings, with more than twice the viewers of CNN and MSNBC combined.
Caution. You are about to enter the no spin zone.
Well, I guess I should about wrap it up here. We'll probably check back in with these guys again later. Yeah, there we go.